conversations and meetings with Mr. Booker.
Just 1 second, please. It's real clear to the court that Mr. Booker is screaming. He's in the jail cell. Rather than just listen to that.
The young woman you see here casually walking into a 7-Eleven is Ashley Elkins, a 30-year-old devoted mother of two, unaware that her life would soon be taken in the most gruesome way, and her body parts would be scattered in multiple dumpsters in her community by someone she had trusted. While Ashley was simply running errands, someone else was plotting. Her husband, DeAndre Booker, had already begun a dark chain of searches online and ways to cover his deadly tracks. On the night of January 2nd, 2025, what should have been a quiet winter evening in Roseville was about to take a horrific turn. Ashley had gone to speak with DeAndre, unaware that she would never return home. By dawn, neighbors would report suspicious activity. Bags carried to dumpsters, items hastily discarded. Surveillance cameras captured a figure in a black coat with a fur-lined hood, moving deliberately, disposing of evidence. When investigators began piecing together the trail, the truth was beyond horrifying. Ashley's body parts would later be found in multiple dumpsters, scattered across the city, hidden among ordinary trash. By the end of this video, you'll find out how this former veteran of the US Army was not only able to pull off one of the most barbaric acts of cruelty on his partner, but how he almost got away with it. 30-year-old Ashley Elkins was born on March 15, 1990. She lived in Warren, Michigan with her family. Ashley had two little boys, aged 7 and 10, who were the center of her world. She would do anything for them. She never let them out of her sight, which was why it was more than a shock when Ashley would just vanish without a trace. She grew up in Michigan, went to school locally, and later started her own small hairstyling business from her home. Ashley was kind, hardworking, and always helped her family and friends whenever they needed her. Ashley was known for her kindness, generosity, and cheerful personality. She had siblings and was especially close to them, sharing a deep bond that made her family strong. Her family described her as someone who always had a smile on her face, a smile that could brighten even the darkest day. Sadly, it would be this same smile that would attract a man who would become a tragic mistake in her life. Ashley had once been in a relationship with 33-year-old DeAndre Booker. They'd been together for about a year, during which he met her family and spent time with her children. At first, it seemed like he was part of her life, but the relationship ended months before the tragedy. Even after the breakup, Ashley tried to keep her life steady and her boys safe. She was a loving mom who cared deeply for her children, always putting them first. Ashley's friends remembered how she worked hard to balance everything: her business, her family, and her role as a mother. But behind her kindness, Ashley carried the weight of trying to move on from a relationship that had turned unhealthy. DeAndre Booker had once been part of her daily life, but after the breakup, Ashley wanted distance. She wanted peace for herself and her children. Tragically, she would not live long enough to witness her boys grow and flourish. One cold morning on January 2nd, 2025, at around 8 a.m., Ashley left her home to run errands. She wasn't planning to be gone for long. Her two little boys stayed safely with her younger sister while Ashley drove off in her silver Malibu. She wanted to pick up a few things and then return home quickly.
I'm Vinny Politan. The subject of my investigation is missing Michigan mom Ashley Elkins. She was a young mom doing an amazing job raising two boys. But all that stopped when she went missing in a case that is absolutely devastating an entire family.
Surveillance footage captured Ashley stopping at a small store, a 7-Eleven, where she went inside to buy some items. Everything seemed normal at first. She even sent cheerful messages to her mom, Monica, letting her know what she was doing. But then something changed. Around 9 a.m., the messages suddenly stopped. Monica, who always worried about her daughter, tried to call Ashley. The phone rang, but Ashley didn't answer. At first, Monica thought maybe Ashley was busy or driving, but as more time passed, the silence grew heavier. Hours later, Ashley's phone was turned off completely. Monica's worry turned into fear. She drove to Ashley's house, hoping to find her there, but Ashley wasn't home. The boys were still with Ashley's sister, waiting for their mom to return. At this point, something felt wrong, very wrong. Ashley was the kind of person who always stayed in touch. She never ignored her mom's calls, especially when her children were waiting for her. For Monica, the sudden silence was like a warning bell. She knew her daughter, and she knew this wasn't normal. That morning at 9:06 a.m., Monica had sent her daughter Ashley a message. She told her about a troubling dream she had the night before, a dream where Ashley's car had been stolen.
We are still seeking Miss Elkins. The defendant we suspect and believe may know where she is, and a concern is her safety if, God forbid, the worst has not happened yet. So with respect to that, Judge, I believe that there is a risk to the public specifically.
But the reply she received unsettled her even more. Ashley's response was short, almost distant. "Oh man." It felt strange, not like the warm and chatty replies Monica was used to. And after that came silence. Monica tried to FaceTime her daughter, hoping to see her face and hear her voice, but Ashley didn't answer. Growing uneasy, Monica drove to Ashley's house, but her daughter wasn't there. The boys were still safe with Ashley's sister, but Ashley herself was nowhere to be found. But this is where it gets interesting. Hours later, another family member received a text from Ashley. It said she was heading to a specific beauty supply store. For a moment, this gave the family hope. Maybe she was just busy, but that hope quickly faded. Shortly after, Ashley's phone was turned off. Then, strangely, it was turned back on again, though no more messages came through. The silence was heavy and the family's worry deepened. Unable to reach her, her loved ones did everything they could to track her down. Her sister Alexis used the Find My iPhone app to locate Ashley's phone. The app showed her last known location, an apartment in the 2900 block of Pinehurst Street in Roseville, Michigan. This address was familiar, too familiar. It was the home of Ashley's ex-boyfriend, 32-year-old DeAndre Booker. The discovery sent a chill through the family. Ashley's silver Malibu had ended her relationship with Booker months ago, trying to move on and protect herself and her children. Yet now her phone was showing up at his apartment, but why wasn't she answering her phone? At this point, Ashley's family, her mother, her sister, and the father of her 2 boys had no option but to go to DeAndre's apartment to look around. They hoped for answers, but what they found only deepened their fear. Ashley's silver Malibu wasn't in the parking lot. When they knocked on DeAndre's door, there was no response. This only heightened the family's fears.
They indicated to the family that they found substantial evidence inside that apartment, as well as inside a dumpster behind the apartment. In fact, they hauled the dumpster away, which I think that evidence is what led them to the landfill that they're searching now for her remains.
Right at that moment, Monica knew she had to report her daughter missing. Even with the strange situation, Monica could only speculate as to why Ashley would have been at DeAndre's at that morning. They had broken up months earlier, and to her knowledge, Ashley had no reason to be there anymore.
That evening, she could only speculate as to why Ashley would be at DeAndre's apartment that morning. They had broken up months earlier, and to her knowledge, they were no longer involved.
I'm telling you, it's not like
why would she go over there today?
I feel like because she has some financial problems, and he usually a person like help out. And
Ashley's family had reason to suspect DeAndre Booker might have something to do with Ashley's disappearance. After all, he had once been part of their family, even taking care of Ashley's boys. For a while, he seemed woven into their lives. But after their breakup the previous September, Ashley had made a conscious effort to distance herself from him. When he called, she didn't answer. She wanted to move on, to protect herself and her children. However, Monica would share unsettling information with investigators. In the weeks before she went missing, Ashley had confided to some family members that she believed DeAndre might have been following her. Not only that, just days before Ashley disappeared, DeAndre had attempted something suspicious. He tried to trick Ashley into letting him into her house by making an appointment under a fake name with her hairstyling business, which she ran from home. It was a disturbing sign that he wasn't letting go, and it left Ashley feeling uneasy.
He acted like he was a client, and he made an appointment with her. She was expecting that client, it was him. And they were in the house quiet. She told him to be quiet. He knocked on the front door and the side door, and then he left, and then here it is 2 days later, she's gone.
Now, with Ashley missing and her phone traced to his apartment, the family feared the worst. 5 days later, a chilling discovery was made. Ashley's silver Malibu was found parked outside an apartment complex near Little Mac Avenue in Roseville, Michigan, 13 miles away. This location was only 4 miles from the complex where her ex-boyfriend lived. The keys had been left sitting on the seat, as if abandoned. For Ashley's family, this was not a sign of relief. It was a sign of danger. Their worry grew heavier. DeAndre had once been part of their family circle, but that was months ago. Ashley had broken up with him and was trying to stay away. She had even told her family that she thought DeAndre might be following her. He had already tried to trick her into letting him into her house by making an appointment under a fake name with her hairstyling business. And now, Ashley has vanished without a trace. However, the most shocking revelation was yet to come. 2 days after Ashley went missing, DeAndre placed a call to Roseville police. He claimed he suspected his apartment had been broken into. Oddly, he admitted he hadn't stayed there the night before, and when officers arrived, he did not meet him at the door.
Officers reported that they found the door to the unit unlocked and sitting slightly ajar. For this reason, they let themselves inside. As they made their way through the living room and down the hallway towards the bedrooms and the bathroom, they noted a number of curious and unsettling signs. Ones that indicated that the apartment had been the location of a brutal, likely deadly incident.
Officers reported that the door to the unit was unlocked and sitting slightly ajar. For this reason, they let themselves inside. As they moved through the living room and down the hallway toward the bedrooms and bathroom, they began noticing unsettling signs. These clues suggested to them that the apartment had been the scene of a brutal, possibly deadly incident. The unit had been very recently cleaned, and the strong scent of bleach hung in the air. A laptop and headphones sat out on the tabletop in plain view, making it clear the apartment had not actually been robbed. On the sofa, a pair of yellow rubber gloves lay discarded, as if someone had finished scrubbing in a hurry. It was in the bathroom, however, where alarm bells truly went off. 2 bottles of bleach were sitting out, one on the counter next to the sink, another on the floor beside the bathtub. The shower curtain was missing. The plug to the bath drain was lying in the middle of the tub, and inside the drain itself, small items appeared to be lodged. Using a pair of tweezers, one of the responding officers carefully pulled the visible bits of debris from the drain. Quote, "It looked like a blood-like substance that had been caught on a few hairs." What they found would deepen the mystery and confirm their worst fears. This was not the aftermath of a simple break-in. This was the aftermath of something far darker. Officers immediately sealed off the scene and called for further support. Detectives also found small spatter stands on the tiles, against the side of the bathtub, along the baseboards, across the floor, and even on the back of the bathroom door. The countertops surrounding the sink appeared mostly clean, but the cupboard doors below told a different story. From the bathroom, officers' attention was drawn down the hallway, where more spouter was noted on the closet door and walls. In the kitchen, searchers found a box of heavy-duty garbage bags. A few had already been used. Beside them was a second set of lighter pink-colored bags which seemed to have been used throughout the rest of the unit. The waste bin in the kitchen was empty, but a fresh heavy-duty bag had been placed inside. A mop leaned nearby, showing clear signs of an attempted cleanup. Underneath the couch, police found a handgun. It was registered to DeAndre Booker. It was now very clear that Ashley did not leave the apartment alive. She had been hurt in a terrible way. With the information investigators had at hand, they had to begin retracing Ashley's steps from the morning of January 2nd to help them understand what may have happened to Ashley. The timeline started at 8 a.m. when surveillance footage captured her pulling up in her gray Chevy Malibu and walking into a 7-Eleven. She looked calm, carrying herself with the ease of someone running simple errands. But shortly after, another camera told a different story.
Gray Chevy Malibu pulling into the lot of Hampton Court Apartments, where her ex-boyfriend, DeAndre Booker, lives. The car had no license plate. She'd only recently purchased it.
With a slightly different timestamp, it captured her Malibu pulling into the lot of Hampton Court Apartments, the place where her ex-boyfriend, DeAndre Booker, lived. The car had no license plate. She had only recently purchased it. A camera facing the parking lot of DeAndre Booker's apartment building on Pinehurst Street captured Ashley entering the lot that morning. She was wearing the same clothing she had worn earlier at the 7-Eleven, an orange shirt, black jacket, and dark jeans. The footage showed her walking with purpose with a coffee cup in her hand toward the building. That would be the last time anyone saw Ashley alive.
Testimony and another day of bizarre behavior where DeAndre Booker decided not to show up to court in person yet again. That's the obscure sounds Booker was making via Zoom that started off Friday.
Several hours later, at around noon, the same camera recorded two figures moving toward Ashley's vehicle. The male, dressed in dark jeans, a black coat, and a hat, appeared to be DeAndre Booker. The woman beside him was assumed to be Ashley, but something was off. She was wearing different clothing than before. The camera's angle made it impossible to confirm her identity with certainty. The pair approached Ashley's car. After a pause and what looked like a brief exchange, the woman climbed into the driver's seat. The man got in as well. Moments later, the car pulled out of the lot, turning left out of the complex. It never returned. For investigators, this footage was critical. It suggested Ashley had entered the apartment complex that morning, but by midday she was leaving under circumstances that raised more questions than answers. Why was she in different clothing? Was she leaving willingly, or was she being coerced? And why did the car vanish, never to come back? As detectives were still compiling what they found at DeAndre's apartment, they would later bring a forensic team that applied a luminol solution to the walls and floors of the apartment, and what they suspected came to light. Under the glowing reaction, the true extent of the cleaning became visible. The bathroom and hallway lit up, revealing that someone had worked hard to scrub away evidence. A plumber was then called in to dismantle the pipes in the apartment. From the drain in the bathtub, they pulled out a bullet fragment, a silver hoop-style earring, and a small clump of hair. Each item was a chilling clue, pointing to violence that had taken place inside those walls. Not only that,
Same bathroom. Forensic scientist with Michigan State Police Tony Grusser says traces of blood were found in multiple spots.
That is the developed blood that we found using the LCV.
At around 3 p.m., the same camera that captured Ashley that morning also recorded DeAndre moving back and forth from his unit to the parking lot, carrying what appeared to be a large cardboard box toward a dumpster. The box looked heavy and his movements deliberate. Little did they know, the story was far from over.
From there, the figure returns, pushing a shopping cart. Shortly afterwards, he emerges again, this time carrying a pink bag to the dumpster.
By 11:15 p.m., darkness had fallen, but DeAndre's activity outside continued. A figure was captured crossing the street toward the 7-Eleven. Minutes later, the same figure returned, this time pushing a shopping cart. Shortly afterward, he emerged again, carrying a pink bag to the dumpster. But these trips to various garbage dumpsters around the complex would continue for hours.
At 1 a.m., he carries a larger, heavy-duty black garbage bag to the north parking lot, where another dumpster was used to dispose of another bag.
At 1 a.m., he carried a larger, heavy-duty black garbage bag to the north parking lot, where another dumpster was used to dispose of yet another bag.
By 4 a.m., a figure that again emerges from his building is captured walking, visible only in silhouette along the tree line that separates Pinehurst Complex from the buildings next to it.
By 4 a.m., the camera captured a shadowy silhouette emerging from his building once more. The figure walked along the tree line that separated Pinehurst Complex from the neighboring buildings. Again, he carried a large dark bag toward a dumpster. Then, the same figure was shown returning to DeAndre's building, but this time without the bag. However, this wasn't the most shocking of all the footage captured. At around 4 a.m. on January 3rd, DeAndre reappeared, but this time he was pushing the shopping cart, and it was no longer empty.
DeAndre reemerges with the shopping cart, but it is no longer empty.
He first walked towards the dumpster on the left side of the parking lot, only to find the fence blocking his path. He backtracked, maneuvering the cart along the walkway to the right of the screen. He reached the dumpster in the far left corner of the camera's vision. His movements were almost entirely concealed by the darkness.
His movements at this point are almost entirely concealed by the darkness. However, analysis of shadows revealed DeAndre attempting to lift a heavy object from the cart into the dumpster.
But investigators later analyzed the shadows carefully. The analysis revealed DeAndre struggling to lift a heavy object from the cart into the dumpster. He failed at first, dropping it to the ground. With effort, he bent down, collected the object, and finally managed to heave it inside. He then appeared to empty more items from the cart into the bin. For nearly 5 full minutes, DeAndre remained at the dumpster, shifting, lifting, and discarding. The camera captured his movements until 4:59 a.m., just before dawn. But what investigators discovered next would change everything. By 5:07 a.m., when police later uncovered the surveillance footage around the apartment complex, the garbage collection had already taken place. The items DeAndre had so painstakingly disposed of in the dead of night were gone. Investigators realized that whatever had been placed inside those bags and boxes was crucial evidence now lost to the collection trucks. But then, a single clue brought the case into sharp focus. There were several traces of clues left behind. Police seized the dumpsters and began analyzing the contents. Forensic teams discovered traces of blood at the very bottom of the container. These samples were carefully collected and sent for testing. The results were chilling as all the footage was found. The blood matched Ashley Elkins. The same was true when testing was completed on samples taken from inside DeAndre's apartment. Ashley's DNA was found in overwhelming amounts on the bathroom tiles, the hallway walls, and elsewhere throughout the unit. The evidence was undeniable. Ashley had entered her ex-boyfriend's apartment on the morning of January 2nd, and the forensic trail revealed she had never left alive. The bleach, the gloves, the mop, the garbage bags, the frantic trips to dumpsters, all of it pointed to a desperate attempt to erase what had happened. For investigators, the DNA results were the turning point. They confirmed what Ashley's family had feared all along. DeAndre Booker was not just a suspect in her disappearance, he was now the prime suspect in her murder. Investigators learned that trash from the dumpster where DeAndre had emptied his cart would be taken to a transfer station on Grosbeck Highway in Roseville. From there, it would be loaded onto another truck and hauled to a landfill in Lenox Township. Beginning on January 13th and continuing for 5 straight days, officers from 15 different law enforcement agencies combed through a targeted section of the Pine Tree Acres landfill. The search area measured 6.5 acres, though the landfill itself stretched across more than 370 acres. The task was grueling.
Well, we got some objects we are taking back for processing. We're not sure if they're related to the case or not, so we got to do some more work on that. I think we're in the right spot. We just got more work ahead of us.
Trash was sifted through 2 inches at a time, systematically and carefully, in the hope of discovering any items linked to the murder, or, if they were fortunate, locating Ashley's remains. Soon, investigators reported they had found some objects. Though the landfill was vast and overwhelming, the persistence of the search teams began to yield results. Each discovery, no matter how small, carried the weight of possibility. Could these discarded items hold the answers to Ashley's disappearance? Could they be the missing pieces that tied DeAndre's frantic dumpster trips to the fate of the young mother who had vanished? After a week of searching, the efforts at Pine Tree Acres landfill ceased. No remains were found. In the days immediately following Ashley's disappearance, investigators had spoken with DeAndre over the phone twice. During those conversations, he admitted that Ashley had come to his home on the morning of January 2nd. He claimed she sometimes stopped by just to talk. According to him, she left his place that same day, and he had not heard from her since. When asked if she left wearing the same clothing she arrived in, he said yes. When asked if she left in her silver Malibu, he again said yes. These were, of course, easily disprovable statements. Surveillance footage and forensic evidence told a very different story. As investigators continued to compile a case against him for murder and searched for Ashley, they arrested DeAndre for lying to a police officer. DeAndre was eventually located at a girlfriend's home in Flint. Law enforcement tracked him there using camera footage and phone data beginning on January 3rd. Just before 6 a.m., after hours of disposing of items in dumpsters, an Uber driver picked him up outside the Motor City pawn shop near his apartment. Surveillance cameras even showed him discarding a few items there before catching the ride. The Uber dropped him in Flint, where police would find him days later. At the girlfriend's home, investigators found something chilling. They found DeAndre's clothing, identical to the outfit worn by the figure captured on camera disposing of bags of bloody evidence. His black coat with the fur-lined hood, dark ripped jeans, and black hat matched perfectly. When DeAndre was arrested in Flint, investigators seized his cell phone and obtained a search warrant to access its data. What they uncovered was disturbing. On December 29th, just 2 days before he booked a fake hair appointment in an attempt to gain entry into Ashley's home, DeAndre had been conducting searches online. His queries included 9mm silencer, Roseville, Michigan, and murder out of rage, X. After trying to see Ashley and being turned away, DeAndre's online searches grew darker. He typed queries like shotgun through a pillow and can you track location when phone is off? He asked the disturbing and revealing question, what happens to trash after it's picked up? These searches painted a chilling picture of a man not only planning violence, but also plotting how to conceal it. There were further indications that DeAndre was already thinking about ways to escape justice. In the days after Ashley's disappearance, while staying at the girlfriend's house in Flint, DeAndre searched what to do on the run, how to beat a polygraph, and delete Google history. As DeAndre Booker was arraigned on his initial charges, the search for Ashley continued. He was held on a $250,000 bond. The digital trail revealed intent, planning, and a desperate attempt to cover his tracks. Combined with the surveillance footage, forensic evidence, and his lies to investigators, it painted a picture of Ashley's likely fate, a fate that her family had feared, but investigators were now piecing together with undeniable clarity. At his pretrial hearing in August 2025, DeAndre at first refused to sit while in court, even as Ashley's mother took the stand. His defiance was unsettling, a stark contrast to the grief and composure shown by Ashley's family.
Mr. Booker, I was told earlier that you did not want to sit. You can sit if you wish, but if you don't want, you can stand. No response, so with that, you need a question, witness.
Judge, I want to place on the record an objection to the defendant posturing in this manner in an attempt, my opinion, to intimidate witnesses that are going to be testifying against him today. The court runs its courtroom the way it sees fit, and I recognize that, but I didn't want to just place it on the record.
Observers noted that his behavior seemed erratic, almost calculated to disrupt the proceedings. He shifted in place, muttered under his breath, and at times glared across the courtroom. For Ashley's loved ones, who had already endured months of anguish, his refusal to show even basic respect deepened their pain. State prosecutors outlined their case through testimony by responding officers, detectives, and lab technicians. Piece by piece, they reconstructed the timeline of Ashley's disappearance, the forensic trail inside DeAndre's apartment, and his frantic attempts to dispose of evidence. But they revealed one missing piece of the puzzle. the identity of the mystery woman who had driven Ashley's Malibu from the complex on the day she vanished. For months, it had been speculated that she might have been an accomplice, but the truth soon came out. This woman was not a co-conspirator, but a family member who testified she had been manipulated. Prosecutors introduced Payne Barksdale, the adopted daughter of DeAndre Booker's sister. Though less than a decade separated them in age, Payne had grown up adoring the man she viewed as her uncle. He had once been a supportive figure in her young life. Testimony revealed that after gradually losing touch over the years, Payne and DeAndre had only recently reconnected. Payne explained how on the morning of January 2nd, DeAndre asked her to do him a favor, if she could come by in the early afternoon and help him move his friend's car. She had agreed, unaware of the sinister reality behind his request.
He called me and he said that he needed his friend's vehicle to be removed from his apartment complex because he didn't want to get in trouble.
Now, his apartment complex, had you ever been there before?
No, that was my first time.
Do you know the address?
No, I do not.
Do you know what city it's in?
Roseville.
So he called you and said he needed help with moving a car, is that what you're saying?
Yes. Okay. It was a coworker. It was a male coworker. He said that he had went to his house. The car wasn't registered, so it didn't have any plates. He had just bought the vehicle. He didn't have a license, and so with me having a license, he wanted me to drive it to his coworker's house. He said the cops was hot in that area, so me having a license, if I was to get pulled over, I wouldn't be in trouble. Okay. So that was.
So at some point on January 2nd of this year, did you go to the defendant's apartment?
Yes, he requested Uber.
Who requested it?
DeAndre requested Uber from me, from my apartment to go to his apartment.
Payne followed DeAndre's directions to the location of an apartment complex he claimed was home to a friend. Together, they left Ashley's Malibu there. DeAndre instructed her to leave the keys on the seat, saying his friend wanted them left inside. Before ordering an Uber to drive them back, DeAndre carried a bag from the car to a nearby dumpster and disposed of it. The final stop DeAndre asked Payne to make was at a nearby beauty supply store. Cameras captured the Uber and the far right edge of the frame as it pulled into the store's parking lot. Payne exited the car and entered the store while DeAndre waited inside the vehicle. Payne testified that DeAndre asked her to pick up a couple of items. Investigators later suspected that this was the moment Ashley's cell phone was powered back on, an attempt by DeAndre to register her location at the store rather than at his apartment.
And then he asked me, if you turn a phone off, will anyone still see your location? I said, whatever location the phone was at before the phone was turned off, then yes. And then he asked if him and I could share locations.
So when he asked you this was after you were at Kelly Beauty with the defendant, correct?
Yes.
This revelation was critical. It showed how DeAndre manipulated his niece into unknowingly assisting him, using her presence to create a false trail. The store footage, the Uber ride, and the discarded bag all became pieces of a puzzle that prosecutors would use to dismantle his defense. For Ashley's family, this was a very emotional time. They had lost a beloved mother, daughter, and sister. They worried about their two young sons, ages 7 and 10, who would grow up without their mom. Family members and friends tried to support the children and help them feel safe. Even though Ashley's body had not been found yet, the court process moved forward to hold DeAndre accountable. The investigation and legal proceedings gave the family hope that justice would be served and that the person responsible for harming Ashley would face consequences. Of who truly was DeAndre Booker? DeAndre was a veteran of the U.S. Army. He had gone AWOL in 2017 and was later less than honorably discharged. State prosecutors revealed that he had prior counts of both larceny and fraud. The 32-year-old was unemployed at the time of his arrest, his life marked by instability and poor choices. Over several days in his pretrial hearing, evidence of his guilt was meticulously outlined. Yet, DeAndre's behavior during this time was anything but cooperative. He routinely refused to get dressed or leave his cell to attend the hearing in person. Several attempts were made to connect him to the proceedings via video link. He appeared partially covered by a blanket, but the effort mostly failed. He would not agree to stop screaming and cursing long enough for the hearing to continue. When his video feed was unmuted, DeAndre could be heard shouting, "F you."
DeAndre Booker, can you hear the court?
If judge is asking you, you can hear
Your Honor, it's obvious to me that Mr. Booker is in the cell. He's not making himself available for visibility purposes. I can let the court know that based upon my conversations and meetings with Mr. Booker.
Just 1 second, please. It's real clear to the court that Mr. Booker is screaming. He's in the jail cell. Rather than just listen to that, I don't know if you can hear us there, but if you would have him muted, please.
The preliminary hearing in August 2025 unveiled an impressive 200 pieces of evidence. The sheer volume of material presented was staggering. Surveillance footage, forensic reports, witness testimony, and digital records, all woven together into a damning narrative. Judge Bodker agreed with the defense's request to extend a ruling until the full court transcripts along with every piece of evidence could be thoroughly reviewed. It was clear this process would take several months. Only after then would further arguments be presented before a decision would be made about whether DeAndre would continue to trial. But for Ashley Elkins' family, the investigation had provided answers. They had answers now about her lost movements, about the evidence inside DeAndre's apartment, about his frantic attempts to dispose of incriminating items. Yet, of course, it had not provided closure. Ashley was still gone, and her remains had not been found. But one haunting question lingered. What could possibly have caused the rage toward Ashley that DeAndre himself had referenced in his online searches days before she disappeared? Another question weighed heavily on everyone's mind. What motive could he have had to take his ex-girlfriend from her children? The courtroom proceedings had laid bare the evidence, but the deeper why remained elusive. For Ashley's family, the tragedy was not only in the loss itself, but in the senselessness of it, the unanswered motive behind a crime that shattered their lives. Friends and neighbors organized vigil gatherings. They lit candles, shared stories about Ashley, and remembered the happy times she had with her children and family. People wanted to show the family that they were not alone.
He told me to wait, and he goes in and clean up some more. Cops was hot in the area, so me having a license, if I was to get pulled over, I wouldn't be in trouble.
The boys were surrounded by their father and other family members who took care of them every day. They provided hugs, comfort, and a sense of safety, helping them understand that they were loved even though their mother was gone.
We are still seeking Miss Elkins. The defendant we suspect and believe may know where she is, and a concern is her safety if, God forbid, the worst has not happened yet. So with respect to that, Judge, I believe that there is a risk to the public specifically.
The community also worked together to raise money for the children. A GoFundMe page was created to help financially support them, making sure they could grow up with stability and care. As of the publication of this documentary, Ashley Elkins has not been found, and DeAndre has not been sentenced yet. For Ashley's family, the case has provided answers but not closure. The evidence tells them what happened, but the absence of Ashley herself leaves a void that no courtroom proceeding can fill. The story ends not with resolution, but with heartbreak, an unfinished chapter in a tragedy that continues to weigh heavily on those who loved her.
He would have the same people on his page, like responding or replying or, to whatever he posted, which is strange. The same 6 people are not going to always say something. You're going to have different people, different days say things. And that's when we start realizing that something wasn't right with him.
Do
Do you think those were fake or?
Oh, they definitely were. He was good with computers and doing things on them. And
My condolences to Ashley's family and friends, and I hope you get justice soonest. What do you think about it? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this story intriguing, please like, share, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this.